What's going on, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to be talking about spring fragrances. Spring is right around the corner. Everybody wants to be smelling good. Today we're going to be running through the top 10 spring fragrances for men. So we're going to be running through these in no particular order, but stay tuned for the end. I threw in a couple of surprises there for you. And of course, as always, I'm going to throw links in the description for any of these fragrances in the video if they catch your eye, okay? Let's start us off with the most obvious one. You guys all saw this one coming. This is Mont Blanc Legend Spirit. If you don't already own this one, what are you doing? This is an amazing spring summer fragrance. Mostly, I would say it really is going to shine in spring. So what's interesting about this fragrance is, yes, it's an aquatic, and yes, it has that bergamot and grapefruit and the citruses in the top, but it's actually very musky forward. So, you know, it's a heavy on these white musks in there, which you don't usually see from aquatic fragrances. So it's the only one that I know of that's very popular that's a aquatic musk fragrance. So this is an absolute killer. It kind of has a certain sweetness to it, sort of like a Invictus type vibe to it, but this is definitely different from Invictus. It's almost like Invictus Aqua, which was discontinued, but you can pick one of these bad boys up for 20 bucks, 30 bucks. It's very inexpensive, but it's an absolute must. So let's check out the next one. This one is one of my more recent buys, but it is an excellent spring fragrance. This is Carolina Herrera's Bad Boy Cobalt Blue Parfum Electrique. So name is kind of a mouthful there. They have a lot of flankers of the Bad Boy line with this signature lightning bolt, but this is just an absolute amazing. It's got plum, it has truffle in there, it's very woody heavy, but it has a certain fruitiness to it, very well blended. This is extremely versatile. Even if it wasn't for a spring video, I would recommend this fragrance to anybody. I mean, this is just good all around, except for maybe winter. It doesn't have a whole lot of that warmth for winter. But spring, summer, fall, this is gonna be an absolute killer. So very great blue fragrance there. Okay, coming up next, we got another obvious one. Okay, we're talking Bleu de Chanel. This is the Eau de Parfum. So obviously extremely versatile. It has that grapefruit in the top notes. It has some pink pepper in there, a lot of cedar in there. I mean, this is obviously an amazing fragrance that every collector should probably have in their arsenal. So that one's an absolute must. Okay, coming in on our next one, this one might surprise you. I know I don't talk a whole lot about this fragrance, but our next one is gonna be Davidoff Cool Water Intense. Okay, so Cool Water Intense is nothing like Cool Water if you're not familiar with this one already. So this is an amber forward fragrance. So very heavy on the amber, overdose of coconut, almost a tropical vibe to it, but it has a certain sweetness to it. You wouldn't want to wear this in the heat of summer just because it does have that amber, but spring is right that little kind of sweet spot where you have that sort of tropical vibe to it. The woodiness is there, the amber is there. This is a great uplifting fragrance, and you can get it for pretty cheap, right around 30 bucks usually. You can pick up a bottle of this. By the way, guys, if you're liking this kind of content and you want to see more, go ahead and make sure to subscribe to the channel. It really helps the channel, and if you could hit that like button, let me know you care. Anyway, to our next fragrance. This is bordering on summer, but just because it's so good, this fragrance is so good, I figured I would include it in the spring fragrances video as well. We're talking about Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Forever. This is my signature summer scent, but you can pull this off in any warm weather situation. So I'm gonna say spring as well. It's such a realistic, excellent, fresh, zesty grapefruit note. It's very grapefruit heavy. It's an aquatic fragrance. It almost has a certain galbanum, certain type of metallic, mineral-y kind of note in there that just adds to that freshness and that sort of just zinginess to it. Excellent summer fragrance, excellent spring fragrance. I can't recommend this one enough. I believe it was discontinued, but there's plenty of stock there. So of course, you know, I'll try and make sure I find a link that still has this fragrance, because this is a total killer. It's one of those old summer flankers that they made a while back, and it is easily the best one that they made. All right, so our next one is an oldie but a goodie. I figured I would include at least one that is a blast from the past. So this is an excellent fragrance. I wear it even though I am kind of a younger gentleman. This one came out, I think it's 80s or 70s. I'm not sure. Don't quote me on that, but this is Alfred Sun Sung Om. So it's got the purple juice, but don't let that fool you. This is a green fragrance. This smells exactly like Irish Spring in a bottle. Absolutely the exact same as Irish Spring. So if you like Irish Spring as a soap and you want to smell something that's just very fresh, that Artemisia, the carnation, the geranium, kind of more of those old school smells to it, but it's very green, very uplifting, perfect for that spring weather, go ahead and pick one of these up. You can easily get one of these under 20 bucks, guys. So this one, I love this fragrance personally. It's very strong though. So, you know, performance is borderline beast mode, so go easy on the sprays with this one. All right, coming in at our next one. This one is a personal favorite of mine. This is Acqua Essenziale Blue by Salvatore Ferragamo. I have all of the Acqua Essenziales. So I have the Colonia, I have the Acqua Essenziale, the regular one. I think that this one is most appropriate for spring. If you guys are looking for a spring fragrance, something that's a little more versatile, this has a little bit more amber in there, but it does still have that cypriol, the you know, kind of bergamot and citrus notes in the top notes, and then it's balanced out with the woods and spices in the base. So definitely a very great amber, woody fragrance, extremely versatile blue fragrance. This is gonna be perfect for spring. And you can actually pick this one up for pretty cheap as well. So our next one, I have to admit, I haven't worn this one as much as I would like to, but I found it in the back of my drawer and I was like, dang, this is a killer spring fragrance. Why haven't I been wearing this? This one is Ocean Noir by Michael Malou London. Now this one's a little bit more pricey, guys, but it's an amazing aquatic. It has that certain depth to it, but it also has a certain bubblegum sweetness. So it does also kind of have Invictus vibes, almost like the Legend Spirit, but this one is a little bit darker, a little bit more ambery and sweeter, and a little bit more versatile, I would say, than the Legend Spirit. Personally, I like the Legend Spirit better, but if you're looking for something with more versatility, wow, excellent fragrance, then you can go for Ocean Noir. Not to mention it has a pressurized atomizer, so there's a little bit of fruitiness in there too as well. It almost like a pineapple, but not pineapple. I'm not sure what that note is, but it has a seaweed note in it too that you don't really get a whole lot of. I think they're using something like alginone that has sort of just a general kind of aquatic vibe to it, and it's not necessarily seaweed. So don't worry about that note. All right, so next one. This one's gonna be hard to find. I'll try and make sure I can find a link for you guys because this one was also discontinued. This is Zara's Vetiver Pamplemousse. Now this was made in combination with the perfumer Jo Malone. So you know her. Jo Malone made a couple of fragrances for Zara. They were a lot cheaper. This was like 15 bucks, so it's a lot cheaper than the Jo Malone fragrances, but you're getting her expertise in there as well. So as the name will suggest, this is vetiver and pamplemousse, which means grapefruit. So they're using a lot of vetiver acetate, they're using veticone, they're using methyl pamplemousse, they're using all of the notes that you would, you know, the fragrance ingredients that you would expect from them, but that's just what we're paying for is the expertise of Jo Malone making just such a well-blended, well-done grapefruit note. So as far as the grapefruit ones, I think I personally like Dolce Gabbana Light Blue Forever better, but this one has a slight bit more versatility to it, even though it doesn't last as long. So see if you can find one of these. It's a great freshie to just kind of spray on and just reapply during the day. Okay, last but not least, we have another blue fragrance. This is Dunhill Century Blue. Okay, so they did Century and then they did Century Blue, magnetic cap. You can pick this up for around 20 bucks. This is a very blue fragrance. It is a little more amber heavy, but it's a bit spicier than something like Acqua Essenziale Blue or Versace Dylan Blue. So if you like that general DNA and you want something that has, oh, maybe a little bit more spice to it, a little different in there, a little something different in there, then I would go check this one out. Still has the grapefruit and citrus notes in the top, still has the spiciness and kind of floral in the mid, and then it still has the woodiness and amber in the base. So it's that general DNA of a blue fragrance. I think they did a great job, especially for the price for this one. So yeah, those are the top 10 men's spring fragrances, in my opinion, of course. Let me know what your opinion is. If you have a certain go-to spring fragrance, let me know in the comments. Maybe I'll pick one up. So thanks for watching. If you like this kind of content, make sure to subscribe. It really helps the channel, and I'll see you in the next one.